Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. I know a lot of people have been up in arms over the new Ghostbusters movie. Some people are hating it, some people are loving it, and a lot of people are decrying sexism over those that don't like it, and it's all turning into a giant SJW media shitstorm. Now, I personally do not agree with SJWs in general, but I also don't care about societal pressure over what to like or dislike either. I take things like movies and video games on their own individual merits, as is proper. So bearing that in mind, we do have the new Ghostbusters video game that is based on the new movie. It's a new era with a new take on the Ghostbusters in this reboot, so let's see what it has brought to the table with Ghostbusters, the video game. Alright, I turned the music off here for the options menu because it is, of course, naturally the Ghostbusters theme song, and I didn't want to get copyright claimed. But this is the options menu. We have music, sound effects, and voice volume. Subtitles on or off, controller vibration on or off, video mode, full screen, oh my god, full screen windowed, or yeah, the controls are a little bit twitchy there. Resolution appears to be locked unless you go into windowed mode, but it does support up to 4K resolutions. Graphics quality, we have resolution, anti-aliasing, shadow, post-process, texture, and effects all on a slider. None of it giving real indication as to what post-processing, anti-aliasing, or anything like that the game actually uses. And of course, VSync lock on or off. So this is basically very much a console port, and because of this, they have offered very little by the way of a robust options menu for the PC game. This does have, of course, a little bit of control, but it's just not enough here. We do not know what type of anti-aliasing it uses, post-processing, or anything like that. Basically, this is just a fairly slightly above bare bones options menu. Now, Ghostbusters, the game itself, is a top-down twin-stick shooter for 1 to 4 players and features different weapons and playstyles for each character that follows along with some standard gaming tropes. We have the tank, the ranged fighter, the tech, and the tech? Yeah, the game's designers didn't factor a healer into the game, but we'll get into that type of stuff a little bit later. You'll notice right away that this isn't the cast of the original Ghostbusters or the new female cast. No, apparently the new female cast of Ghostbusters are in Washington, D.C. fighting assassin ghosts to protect the president, and these Ghostbusters are apparently holding down the fort. No, I'm not making it up. That's really where they said they were.
Looks like they're still out there making supernatural herstory. Check this photo they just sent.
Holy trap! I recognize those ghosts they caught. They're all famous assassins.
Haunting the White House?
They must have stopped them before they assassinated the president.
And you can tell right away how well this game was going to go when they literally made one of the worst Ghostbuster jokes one could make.
Guys, turn on the news, quick! There's something strange right here in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that really happened. In the first 2 minutes, both of those clips happened. The cringe is very real in this game, guys, to be certain. So, as I said before, this game is a twin-stick, top-down shooter from the land of Generica. Featuring a special proton pack weapon that is different for each person, we have the machine gun proton pack, the Gatling gun proton pack, the shotgun, and the twin handguns. Each of these handling and feeling very similar to every other basic top-down shooter out there. In addition to that, you can switch to the traditional proton pack wand in order to capture ghosts, which features a mechanic where you have to keep pulling in the opposite direction to which way the ghost is trying to go until a meter fills up and then you're able to slam them into the ground, because I guess smacking ghosts around is needed before you can capture them because reasons. And then you have a mechanic where you have to mash on the A button on your controller to increase the multiplayer for amount of ecto you earn, which is this game's version of experience points. You'll notice that I use the terms in regards to the controller quite a bit because while this game does have keyboard and mouse support, it's very much designed around the controller, and you will have a more difficult time with a keyboard and mouse than you will with a controller. Although either way, the game is fairly basic and relatively intuitive because of the sameness to other traditional top-down shooters, and it doesn't really offer much by way of difficulty. Now, the game takes you through these same mechanics over the course of 6 areas on the map, most of them containing 2 or 3 sub-areas, except for the last zone marked Limbo. And here's where I do have to give them credit. The level design are decently well done for how bland the game looks and plays. However, the enemy types, while somewhat varied in appearance from level to level, they are simply reskins of the same basic dozen-ish enemy types, which only serves to make the game feel more samey and empty. With every new enemy type, I found myself thinking, oh, a new one. Followed a few seconds later by the realization that it's simply a new piece of art over the top of an enemy that I had already faced, and that is something that is pervasive throughout the entire game. The dull sameness of everything really detracts from the experience as a whole and underscores the limited scope of the game. Now, as I mentioned before, the game also uses collected ecto as a form of experience to be used to upgrade your character's damage, health, and speed, or to decrease cooldown timers or a couple of other abilities that almost feel like an ability to customize your character. But, given multiple playthroughs, you will eventually be able to max out every character, which makes customization rather pointless outside of your initial playthrough. The story you are in is this new team of Ghostbusters that are holding down the fort. Then something strange is going on, which causes a resurgence of ghosts in the area, and that's really it. You're issued a few generic missions by people calling the Ghostbusters before you're off to Limboland, and there all you do is fight in different zones that once again reuse the same enemy types as you're forced to fight the bosses that you just finished facing over the course of the last 6 hours, and once again, until you reach the final boss, which is of course, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man for reasons, I guess. The story is exceptionally simplistic and woefully underdeveloped, only offering the basest of reasons for your player's existence. Now, in addition to all that, the graphics in the game are passable at best, with very little to make it stand out. Especially not considering I have seen the indie titles selling for far less money with better graphics than are shown here. Low-resolution textures show the general lack of effort that once again only serves to underscore the dullness of the title. And to its credit, it does run at 60 FPS, which is somewhat of a surprise for what is clearly a console port and a somewhat lazy one at that. But the game does have some noticeable frame rate drops at times, but no hard crashes or anything like that. And if you're not actively looking for the drops, then they would be hard to notice. However, there are also several gameplay bugs where the reload mechanic, which is based on heat, sometimes bugs out and your character doesn't eject the thermal clip or whatever the hell it is to reset that. So sometimes you're left standing around until you're forced to try and kill yourself so one of your teammates picks you back up. Also, guys, the game is short. I have 7.5 hours clocked in on the game, and that's only because I got up and walked away multiple times. The total playthrough for the game is only between 6 and 7 hours, to be honest, and I had a hard time powering through to the end. I found the game to be just dull, and I really didn't want to come back to it after the first 3 hours. I didn't even feel the multiplayer could save this game. Granted, everything's more fun with multiplayer. The game is just too much of a victim of its own blandness, and multiplayer I don't think can save it. Yes, the game's playtime can be artificially inflated out of a desire to play all 4 characters, but the boredom you will experience in the game will quickly overrule that compulsion. It's just not a good game. I mean, completely devoid of creativity, meaningful story, decent graphics, or enjoyable gameplay, this game is a waste of space on my drive, and I feel dumber for having played it. It's generic incarnate, and it can be yours for $50. That's right. Yes, a slight discount from a full AAA release because even they couldn't bring themselves to try and justify a full $60 price tag. Probably because they knew that if they did it, they would have caused an uproar, but this game still isn't even worth half the $50 asking price, and it's an insult at that price point. The only way I could justify anyone buying this bland, boring-ass piece of shit is if it were $10, maybe $15. That's all it's worth. Don't waste your money on this game until the price drops drastically. There's just simply too many other worthwhile games out there that will give you a lot more enjoyment. So there it is. Ghostbusters, the video game based on the movie Reboot. And I sincerely hope this isn't where the franchise is headed, because if it is, then damn, just damn. So, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please don't forget to click on the like and share buttons if you enjoy the video. And if you're new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. If you didn't like it, the dislike button is right down at the bottom. Once again, I am SidAlpha, and I will see you next time. Hi there, boys and girls. Thanks for checking my video out. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit that like button and maybe even that subscribe button. Trust me, it works really good. Don't forget to share with your friends, and if you're interested in following me on Twitter and Facebook, the links for that are in the description down below. I also have a Patreon if you're interested in helping to support the growth of my channel, and the link for that is down below as well. And once again, thanks for watching and supporting my channel, guys. I really appreciate it.